If you found a medieval gold ring with a blue stone shining at its center, you'd say it's a sapphire. Most experts would too. It isn't, and that's not even the strangest part of this story. This ring sat 7 centimeters below the surface, in the middle of Tønsberg, while the modern city grew right on top of it, century after century. Until an archaeologist found it. The closer you looked, the more personal the discovery became. It wasn't just raw gold. The surface carried fine filigree and granulation work, metal wires almost as thin as a strand of hair, shaped into patterns with tiny spheres soldered one by one. At the center, the blue stone. And there was one more feature hard to ignore. It was small enough to fit a slender finger. The gold, the decoration, the stone, the rarity. None of it pointed to an object accessible to just anyone. Medieval gold like this is rare in the Norwegian record, and the combination of the ring's small size and rich decoration led the NIKU Institute to raise a possibility. Maybe the ring belonged to a high-status woman. Maybe. That word matters, because a ring size doesn't automatically hand back the identity of who wore it, and there's no inscription to give us a name. What exists is a hypothesis, built from the piece itself. But the gold and the craftsmanship bring its owner closer to a very specific social world. Someone with access to a rare, sophisticated object. And that changes the investigation. Because if we want to get closer to this person, looking at the ring isn't enough. We need to look around her. The answer was, literally, beneath the modern city. Because the Tønsberg the archaeologist knew from above occupied almost the same space as another Tønsberg, an entire medieval city. A trading center, churches, structures tied to power. And royal presence was part of that world. Tønsbergus and the royal residents placed the city within an environment of political importance. The ring didn't appear isolated in some remote spot. It appeared in an urban space where commerce, religion, hierarchy, and power met. We still don't know her name or what she did, but we can already sense the kind of world someone with access to gold could move through. And we still haven't talked about the part that catches the eye most. The blue stone. Up to this point, it seemed to complete a perfect image of luxury. Worked gold, sophisticated decoration, a gem at the center. It's almost inevitable to look at that color and imagine something precious. But this is exactly where the ring changes meaning. Because that stone is probably not a sapphire, it's glass. If you didn't see that twist coming either, drop a like. And that might sound like a letdown. It isn't. In fact, it might be one of the most human clues in the whole discovery. Because if blue glass could produce an appearance similar to a precious stone, the question stops being how much the ring was worth. It becomes another one. Why make glass look even more precious? We can't say for certain someone chose that material on purpose to imitate a sapphire, but the possibility forces us to look at the piece differently. Because in the medieval world, a precious stone didn't have to mean only wealth. A sapphire, for example, could be linked to divine power, healing, chastity. We don't know if that intention existed here. But there's an important distinction. A jewel's material and what it seemed to communicate weren't always the same thing. A piece could be perceived, recognized, interpreted, displayed. And discovering that the blue is probably glass doesn't make the ring less interesting. It makes it more complex. Except when you look closer at how it was made, another problem shows up. Maybe this world is bigger than Tønsberg. The specialist who assessed the piece found something important. There's no known direct parallel for this ring. That makes pinpointing a specific origin risky, but it doesn't mean it stands completely alone. A ring found in Ullensaker offers a point of comparison. The decorative spirals resemble English examples. In Roskilde, there are rings that combine stone and granulation. None of them prove where the Tønsberg piece came from. Comparison isn't provenance, but the parallels widen the map. Filigree and granulation techniques arrived in Norway, carrying broader influences, including Byzantine and Carolingian repertoires. That object, buried 7 centimeters below a Norwegian city, starts to carry references that don't fit neatly into a purely local story. We have the gold, the filigree, the granulation, the size, the blue stone, the urban context, the outside parallels. We have a high-status interpretation. We have the possibility of a woman, but we still don't have the person. The ring's exact date remains open. We also don't know if it was made in Tønsberg or arrived from somewhere else. And there's an even more basic question with no answer. How did it end up in the ground? Lost, discarded, moved later. The circumstance is unknown. Archaeology takes us so far. After that, the evidence simply runs out. At first, it seemed like we were looking for a person, but the more carefully we respect what the evidence actually says, the clearer it becomes. We'll probably never know the name of whoever wore this jewel. Still, the investigation didn't fail, because while we were trying to find a person, we found the world around her. The gold showed hierarchy. The decoration revealed craft skill. The size narrowed possibilities without turning into certainty. Tønsberg revealed a city of commerce, religion, and power. The parallels opened cultural connections that reached beyond the local. And that small blue piece, probably glass, showed why material value alone isn't enough to understand what someone chose to wear on their own body. If you like seeing how one small piece of evidence can open windows into entire worlds, subscribe to Rediscovered Secrets and turn on notifications, because the next historical discovery might be hiding right where we least expect it. In Tønsberg, 7 centimeters were enough. Above, the city kept living. Streets changed, buildings rose, centuries passed. Below, a small circle of gold remained, an object that one day wasn't archaeology, wasn't a discovery, wasn't an ancient piece. It was simply something someone wore. Today we know far more about it than about that person. We can examine its gold, its filigree, its granulation, its blue stone, but we can't say the name of whoever carried it. And maybe that asymmetry is what makes the discovery feel so intimate. History doesn't always preserve names. Sometimes it preserves what they touched.